Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another wonderful day in the SAF podcast. It's been a while since we've had back-to-back weeks where we've done a podcast, so it's a little bit refreshing. No breaks this time. Summer's over, people are coming back. We have to face the horrible responsibilities we have for ourselves, and reality is crushing us at some point. But that all aside, I am, of course, your lovely guest host, Josiah Biggs. Sterling could not be with us today, for he is actually in New Zealand this week, helping the needy and the poor, as he does constantly going to other countries less fortunate than our own.
What a hero.
I know. A selfless man indeed. Now, let me introduce our first guest, and a special guest he is, Mr. John Lamy.
Hello, it is I. And first I want to say, fuck you, Japan. You don't recognize me. I am the Canadian common writer that you never put in your series. How dare you? Purely focusing on Japan and Japan alone, forgetting all us other common writers out there. Tisk tisk. You're not the only ones that have to deal with evil on a daily basis. I can't tell you the amount of kaijus we have in Canada.
It's a big problem.
It is.
And the national media just continues to ignore it.
Exactly. I've wrestled at least 4 grizzly bears this weekend.
See, it's weird because on Pacific Rim, like within a few hours, everyone was like, oh shit, kaiju, we've got to get the military together. But our boy John here has been holding down the scene for the longest time.
I know.
He's an unsung hero.
My epic writer punches and kicks are just too OP, I guess, and it'd be like One Punch Man. I just end the episode just like that. They gotta save me for the last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Common writer, molded by the gods. You know, just your average day Canadian boy, right?
Yep.
Except I'm not a pizza man anymore.
No, that's true. That's sad to hear that you're no longer going to be Spider-Manning through the city.
Yeah, I had to give up that wrestling gimmick.
Alright, John, always glad to have you. Now let's introduce our other very special guest, Mr. Matthew Ferrugia. And it, of course, is a very special day for him. For those who don't know, he's turning 12 years old today.
Oh,
hey!
A year older than Liam.
I think like 2 or 3 actually. Like, nah, he's not that old, man. Come on.
I can never remember because Canadian years are different than American years.
Yeah.
Though, like the last time I checked, he was a fetus, but I don't know. He may have been born at this point.
Yeah, I think I saw him on Berserk, this week.
Tell us about yourself, Matt. Give us a little intro.
I am, I'm just somebody here that's here to talk about some Berserk. And I'm also here to talk about, oh man, this is gonna make me look like a huge asshole, but what did we watch? Like, what was the homework again?
The homework was...
Yes, John, what did you assign for homework this week?
I'm just going to call it the Taoist Wizard.
The Taoist Wizard, that's the thing. I'm just some guy who's here to... Woochi. I'm just some guy who's here to talk about some Woochi. That's me. Nothing special to look at.
I'd rather not just say whole names because I, on daily basis, have to say a bunch of Japanese and Korean names, so it eventually gets tiresome. Oh no, I have to.
This is just a noble task you're taking upon yourself. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of deal with the Japanese and Korean people a lot.
Oh, well, good stuff.
And yet they still don't let me in Kamen Rider. Those goddamn bastards.
Right?
Those gosh darn xenophobes.
That's right. It's because I'm otaku, isn't it?
That's it.
They're like, no otaku writers. Screw that.
Alright, and so as we mentioned before, our homework this week was officially Woochi, the Taoist Wizard. And of course our extra credit was the newest episode of Berserk 2016. And so who wants to start on their week? Matt, I believe you had a pretty crazy last night. You said you may not have been joining us today due to the festivities.
Yes, I got a little bit wild last night. I had a buddy that was live streaming all of my festivities to YouTube. So I hope that my shenanigans have not become worldwide and I'm just not aware yet. That would be pretty embarrassing. So yeah, I turned 24, and last night I met up with some coworkers and we had some cognac, some delicious Hennessy, and we cut loose just a tiny bit. Just a tiny
You're
bit.
drowning in the Hennessy.
Yeah.
The drink of the greatest memers.
Is it?
Did you don't know how to make Hennessy chicken
No, I
or
seriously
Hennessy soup or Hennessy lasagna?
Are there actually some like shitty memes about Hennessy that I don't know about?
There's a guy who literally all he does is he's a mid-range rapper. Forget his name.
Well, of
all
course,
he
he's a
does
mid-range
is
rapper.
all he does is get in his bathrobe and make all his food with Hennessy as the main ingredient. He roasts chickens with it. He like basically he made Hennessy cocktail shrimp. He has a water cooler, like a traditional like business water cooler that's made for Hennessy.
Now, are
They
we
call it-
sure that this isn't just Guy Fieri?
No.
No, because he only makes the most perfect delicacies.
No, because the
Guy
rapper in the
Fieri-
video doesn't have frosted tips. I mean, you know, he's
yeah.
about 2 feet shorter. You know, has dreadlocks and a huge mustache. But you know,
Guy Fieri is a man of class and taste. He would never cook with Hennessy.
I mean, just look at his playlist in the kitchen. It's got like Smash Mouth and Smash Mouth and I'm pretty sure Linkin Park somewheres. I don't know.
Oh,
Smash Mouth and Linkin Park. They're the crossover CD.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, I had quite a bit of the drink of the gods of the divine Guy Fieri last night. I suckled from his bosom, and then can we take that line out? Actually.
No, it's already here.
Actually, you know what?
If you
Yeah.
leave your
Fuck
balls out during the stream, that's
Fuck
what
it.
happens.
Fuck it. It's going in. That's going on the internet now. All right. Yeah. So I got a little bit wild last night. I met up with some of my coworkers. I had some delicious jerk chicken and Jamaican chicken soup. That was quite something. And then I made my way home. And today I had a bit more of a delicate, a bit more of a refined birthday with my family. Not much to say there because that one was pretty low key. And over the course of the week, I played more Shining Force 2. For those of you that have been following us for the last couple weeks, you will know that Shining Force 2, pretty dope shit, and you should try it out. That shit's on the Sega Genesis, that shit's on Steam, it's on the Xbox 360, well, in like a Sonic Genesis collection. But the point is, go and play it. Shining Force 2, it's great. And I started reading Bram Stoker's Dracula, as those of you from last week will recall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great because the introduction goes into not only about who Dracula is himself, but also the history of just vampires in fiction. And that's an interesting read. I'm having a lot of fun with that. And apart from that, of course, there's Berserk, which we'll get into later. And you know what? That was oh yeah, I got a promotion and a raise at work, so that's nice, I guess. Doesn't have too much to do with the podcast, but that's something very relevant that happened in the week. So that was nice, and not much else happened. So who would like to grab the ball next?
Don't worry, I can do it.
Okay, John.
Grab
take
those
over.
balls.
So, first
Got 'em.
off, as Nintendo would say, congratulations.
Ah, thank you, buddy. You're too kind.
So, my week's been pretty tiresome and lame, but I did get to finish every episode of Ultimate Muscle again.
Yeah.
Oh
nice.
boy, I love Ultimate Muscle so much. And then I actually found out there was Kanikuman on KissAsian.com. So I started following the grand adventures of King Muscle and was amazingly surprised that, wait a second, did I just leave watching Bobobo for another Bobobo?
You could
Yes.
give me 100 years and I would still never be able to pronounce that name correctly.
That is pretty much what Kanikuman has been so far. I have gotten to where they're actually wrestling now, but a lot of the episodes just like, they're taking it serious now. Now some random shit's happening. They're singing random shit. The skullduggery dude dressed up as a chick and is trying to blow up King Muscle. It's like, what the fuck? It's just stuff you would probably see in the parody animes and all that. So, which, I mean, of course, the whole thing with Kanikuman was it was a parody on superheroes. And Ultraman for the biggest reference for that. I was also amazed at the fact that there was the Road Rollada there reference, and they had this scene where Kanikuman was flying. They're like, "Oh, who is that? Is it Ultraman? No, it's not Ultraman. Is it Spider-Man? No, it's not Spider-Man. Is it Kamen Rider?" I was like, "Fuck! If it was Kamen Rider, and Kanikuman, that would be my favorite character, of course." For right now, my favorite character is Robin Mask, because, I'm a stupid Brit.
Are you sure it's not Panda Man?
Oh, Panda Man's pretty good.
Ah, Panda Man. Everyone who knows who Panda Man is frickin' like, no man. They're the blessed ones.
Yeah.
The greatest low-key character of all time.
And then most people are going to be like, what the fuck's a Panda Man? So tell them.
Some say he goes from anime to anime. Constantly in the background. But basically, the story behind Panda Man is that this was the first real breakout that Ichiro Oda had in the anime scene. He entered a contest to have get your character into Kanikuman as a guest, and just kind of like a background character that shows up every once in a while. And so he put in for Panda Man. Of course, this was much way before he started One Piece.
Yeah.
But this was his first sort of introduction into the whole anime manga scene. And so in every arc, in about, I think it's like every 50 episodes, Panda Man shows up in One Piece somewhere as well. But no, and so you see subtle nods, and there's also been a whole bunch of other nods to Panda Man in some other works too. But no, he's just a kind of the ultimate anime Easter egg, so to speak. Besides, I mean, all of the anime from the 80s till now just being a reference to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah,
but I mean, everybody knows that.
Yeah. Another thing that I loved from Kaneko Man was they went to the main headquarters on the Kaneko planet, and it just had a memorial of people. So I don't know which Ultraman was there, but there was a certain Ultraman there. There was another hero that I didn't recognize, and then in between them was Kamen Rider X.
Nice.
It had to be that one certain Kamen Rider, because that must have been the time, like, period that was the Kamen Rider of that time. I was like, oh, that's a good Kamen Rider to have at that time. So, other than that, I've got Bakugan on the watch on episode 15 of that. I like Bakugan. I don't care if people don't.
Alright, man.
The only thing I dislike about Bakugan is, oh man, the bullshit compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! That it puts in there. Like, if you thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Had some bullshit, Bakugan's just like, oh look, activate this ability. By the way, ability activate. Did I say ability activate yet? Because here's like a 4 for 5th one.
This ability allows me to just win the game.
Yeah, basically. And then the character, like not the side creatures in the battle, but the main creatures can just decide to go God mode whenever they want. And the episode that I watched, it was like, I attack your creature here. And then Julie's big guy just like blocked it with his shield. He's like, no, that attack doesn't count because I put my hand in the way or my shield in the way. I was like, oh, that's bullshit because she wasn't attacking you.
Screw the rules, I have a shield, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like they have minds of their own, so they can break the rules if they want. Because friendship and love and, you know...
Heart of the cards.
Yeah, heart of the cards.
Yeah.
As little Karibo said when he was mimicking the heart of the cards, where it was like Yugi was trying to open this door. He's like, I gotta swipe it this way. No, this way. Maybe I should swipe it this way. And it's like always the same. Then Seto was like, why don't you try using the heart of the cards?
That is a surprise. That's a surprisingly good Dan Green there.
I know, that's what I was thinking. It was almost like Knuckles the Echidna was on our podcast.
Yeah.
What? Shut up!
Gotta get them emeralds.
Yeah. For games, I played some Battleborn because they have a new character out. He's an owl that throws like... Well, he's like the demo man from TF2. Pretty much.
I thought that you were going to say you're playing Battleborn because you want to experience some fantastic server speed.
Mm-hmm. It's
Well,
alright.
It's almost like there was no one else on the server at all.
Yeah. It's alright. I just play story mode anyways. I don't play the MOBA mode.
Fair enough.
I've kind of let my MOBA part of me die for now. So I haven't even played Smite this week. I finally got Shovel Knight on the go.
Hey, Shovel Knight's great.
It's a great game.
And I beat King Knight on my video, so that's good. I haven't gotten that far, of course, but I was having recording issues anyways. Because it seems my computer has absolutely zero space left on it. I have to like delete the podcast as soon as I send it in to you guys.
Sounds like you need to get an external.
How about I just get a new computer? I wish I could get that.
Yeah, that's probably a better investment.
I played Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare because they have an event going on right now. And it's a community event, so It's like you got to kill a bunch of zombies or something, or plants as a ice character, and if we all get it up to a certain level, we all get legendary hats or shit. Which, if you play TF2, your life is pretty much getting hats.
Yeah, I forgot what real money felt like for a while.
Yeah. So since I'm one of those TF2 zombies, I'm obsessed with hats. So if I have a chance to get a hat, I'm gonna take it. Those virtual hats that mean nothing.
Milady.
Yep. Tip them all.
Oh, let me give you a tip.
Yeah. Tip them all, Peter. Tip them all. Final game.
See anything besides the homework, or
for movies? No.
Yeah, any other TV shows or any other anime you took a peek at?
No, it's been a slow time for that. But now that I have all the time in the world, I'll check some things out.
There you go.
But again, I'm probably going to be more focused on working out and stuff. So, the final game that I have is Disciples 2, which is an amazing game. It's a strategy game, and if you like strategy games and stuff like Heroes of Might and Magic and that, definitely check it out, because it's fucking great. So that's all I got for my exciting week.
Oh man, it's already my turn. Can't wait. I definitely wasn't browsing Imgur.
I won't browse I won't browse Newgrounds while you're talking.
No, because you get like 10 million porn ads popping up.
I remember when Newgrounds used to be a wholesome and hollowed place.
Oh, it still is. You just gotta dig through the garbage.
I will, however, bring up Adventure Quest. So.
Ooh.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough. It just takes me way back. That's cool. Sorry, go on.
Feel old yet?
Oh man.
Every day. Well, I actually did something that's pretty out of character for me. I watched some American television for once.
Oh.
Gasp from the crowd. I watched Stranger Things, the explosive new thriller, suspense, mildly horrorish Netflix original series that all the normies won't shut up about. And so I'm like, I'll give it a shot, because Mr. Sterling Silver had just previously watched it last week. And so I wanted to compare notes with him, which we did for a little bit this last week after I finished it. It took me about 2 days to finish it. It's only 8 episodes, but an episode's about 45 minutes long. So it's a double episode. But no, I mean, you can speed through it pretty quickly. I will give a little bit, no spoilers, but kind of my overview of it. First 2 episodes, pretty good, pretty 80s. Everything is 80s. Reminds me of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Doesn't remind me of the Goonies. People who say that never watched the Goonies. Also reminds me of Monster Squad, like Sterling said last podcast. But no, I mean, really, it gives off a heavy vibe of, if you've ever seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, it really does give off that sort of eerie suspense, small town type feeling. But as far as the show goes, I've only seen through it once, but at this point I'd give it maybe a 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5. It is not as good as people say it is. The first 2 episodes and the last 2 episodes are the best. Everything in between is pretty bad. They use a lot of tropes from the 80s to make sure you know that it's set in the 80s.
Yep.
Besides, you can tell that everything's set in the 80s because it's, like older cars and, the way people dressing and the hairstyles and everything like that.
And everyone's on coke, right?
Yeah, basically.
'Cause, 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 'cause
as the tropes go, they handle the tropes really well. The kids feel believable at most points, but there are also a lot of really cringy, really like, why would we need to see this scene, or why are we watching these teens make out for 10 minutes? It's not adding anything to the plot. Or, why do these scenes go on so long, or why do you even have these scenes? They don't add anything. I believe there's a whole episode where it's like, why are we even we don't need to even watch this episode. It doesn't add anything or progress the plot, so it's just kind of worthless. And as far as the child acting goes, I give it a 7 or an 8 out of 10. As the children can definitely act. Now the script is a little bad in some places, and you can definitely show, because the kids are, like I said, the kids are pretty good at acting. It's just if the script was a little bit better, they would be able to pick it up better as well. So I'm not really blaming that on them, and there are a couple little areas where he needs to explain things a little bit more instead of just saying, oh, okay, yeah, this guy's evil, or oh, okay, we read a newspaper article, we understand everything now from blurb from 10 years ago that has 4 sentences in it. Yep, yep, that makes perfect sense. I could draw that huge line across the entire map of this show and just make that connection instantly, instead of you just smacking me across the face with it in the last episode and having to dig through the forums to figure that part out. No. But overall, it's pretty good for American television. Yep. It was definitely a fresh take on the whole 80s feel. It wasn't too try-hard. Like I said, that they did take a lot of tropes from the 80s, obviously, but they implemented more. They did better than they did worse. Let me put it that way. A lot of the tries and attempts they did were successful, whereas some of the ones that really rustled my jimmies, thankfully those parts were few and kind of congregated in the middle. And I'm excited to see season 2, because really this season, once you reach the end, you kind of it gives you the feeling that it's just a setup for something even bigger. And so I'm kind of excited for that, because they can take this a lot of places now. They have all the information out there, all the basics. The story is built now, and so now they can actually get really good, not so character heavy, constant interaction type. You can actually start to build a little bit more in the world around them, so to speak, because it is kind of interdimensional type show. And so I would definitely recommend people watch it if they're interested in that sort of like thriller, suspense, 80s horror type genre. But besides that, it's definitely not as good as most people put it out to be. It's not the new television Jesus that everyone's saying it is.
Is that the one that has that chick with like some supernatural power or something?
Yeah.
I saw like a little bit of it because my mother was watching it on TV. Now, to be fair, it was some random episode in between. So there was like 2 different references that I saw. There was like Stand By Me, because they were walking on train tracks or whatever.
Yeah.
So I caught a glimpse of that. And then when I came back out to like wash my dishes, I thought that she was suddenly watching a live action of Until Dawn.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the hell is this? Did they make this video game into a movie already?
I wish it would have been a little bit more coherent.
Yeah.
Everything kind of wraps up at the end, and everything else you can kind of fill in with your imagination, but there are some parts where it just really kind of like, it would really be nice if you actually told us what this, was about, because it kind of has the whole Walking Dead type feel, in which after an episode, it always leaves it on a cliffhanger usually.
Yeah.
And so, well, it works because it's a Netflix series, and they release the whole season at once, so that's nice. But it also makes it really hard to put down. And so, it's really encouraging the binge watching, which I kind of, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what you want me to do, okay,
Yeah.
But, no, but besides that, watch the usual anime. Shogeki no Soma's doing great. ReZero took a whole 180 I did not see coming. It was ridiculous. And I'll have to wait until next week because they left it on a cliffhanger. That show just keeps getting better and better. One Piece is going pretty good. They're exploring the island of Zou. You're meeting you're starting to meet some of the main characters from that island and some of the comrades that they'll take along with them this time. But everything else is going pretty smoothly. I know Digimon Tri is coming out here pretty soon, next month, I believe. So that's something to look forward to as well. JoJo's doing great. I'm still waiting on that second ending, though. We'll see what song they choose. It has to come soon enough. I mean, they gotta do it.
It's finally gonna be All-Star, just like we wanted.
Either that or something else. I don't know. Need a Smooth Criminal?
No.
I wouldn't mind Smooth Criminal, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good. But, I mean, for me,
or maybe just Killer Queen at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, geez Louise, that would be perfect.
Yep.
I'm kind of bouncing in between. On one hand, it might be perfect, but on the other hand, it might be a little too on the nose. I can't decide, but yeah.
Well, now that Killer Queen's already released, I mean, if it was a little bit beforehand, yeah, it would be a little bit, I don't know, maybe tasteless to do that, for people who are just watching the anime like idiots.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, now that everything's kind of out in the air, we're actually to the good, meat of the story now. It would be very appropriate to do it.
Well,
but we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, for the anime watchers only who haven't read, far ahead of time, they should actually make the final song "Another One Bites the Dust."
Oh, jeez.
That's one that wouldn't pay off until a bit later and might actually be pretty nice. You could have an idea.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I don't understand. Why is Another One Bites the Dust here? And then they finally find out, they're like, shit, damn.
But yeah, so everything's going pretty smooth on the anime train. New season starts in October, first week in October, so we'll be excited to review that once it comes out. And I'll do my do's and don'ts lists, as I usually do. As far as movies go, I did watch Warrior this Friday. I watched it Friday night after I got drunk at the brewery. Came back and watched Warrior and ate a whole bunch of breakfast sandwiches. And for those who haven't seen Warrior, it's a 2011 film about two brothers and MMA fighting.
That sounds pretty nice.
And there's no love story. It's all fighting.
Nice.
No love, no hidden romance. It's a brother versus brother fight for the ages. It's beautifully done.
The only thing that kept Never Back Down from becoming a 10-on-10 masterpiece was that fucking romance subplot. If it wasn't for that, then Never Back Down would have been a 10, but instead it's a 9.
They can't all do it right. But no, I mean, seriously, Warrior was actually underrated by critics when it came out. I was very surprised because I saw it back 2013, like 2-3 years after it came out was the first time I saw it, and it was amazing. My friend kept on telling me, go watch this, you need to watch this. There's no love story, it's all about MMA, it's great. And it's a pretty accurate representation of like the pro scene and how things go. I mean, Creed took a lot of ideas from Warrior when they did that the newest Rocky movie, Creed. There's a lot of parallels you could draw from the way they tell the story. Of course, there's always homages back to the original Rocky and Creed, but it's good to see that they kind of took some ideas from some other successful fighting films and kind of made it their own there as well. But so if you haven't seen Warrior, I would definitely check it out. It's a pretty good watch. It's about 2.5 hours. And I mean, it just kind of sucks you in if you've ever done any sort of fighting or been in a fighting gym or anything like that. It's pretty accurate portrayal. But let's see here. Video games. Play a whole. I did a Minecraft party with some of my friends, like we used to do in college. We would mine from 9 until shine.
Jeez.
I mean, you gotta understand. One of the guys is a computer programmer. Another guy was an ag education guy, and then one of my best friends who also did it with us. He's a natural gas certified technician, but he's also like an engineer type guy, and so he would, like, if you left him alone on a server for long enough, there would just be like huge metropolis sized cities just pop up overnight because he was so efficient at building and gathering materials. Dude's a machine. But no, so we had a fun little 5-hour Minecraft party with the old guys and kind of explored the world and had some fun and played some pranks. Blew up a whole village. But that's about all that I did on my week. So let's get into the homework. Shall we, Mr. John?
Well, if you don't mind, I've got a few things to bring up, just to see if anyone has comments on it. So, does anyone have any comments on the PlayStation Plus prices being raised up to as high as they have been raised?
I have not heard about this.
Me neither.
Basically, for Canadians, it's going to be like almost $90 now for PlayStation Plus for a year instead of $60. Americans, it's going to be raised to about $60.
You know what? I think that's not so bad. I'd pay $90 a year for PS Plus.
Yeah, the only thing people are hoping for is if they're charging us all this extra money, they better have like better games that will come out
more
for
content.
The free games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just raising the price for no real good reason. I think
they'll tell you a quote unquote real good reason.
Yeah. So far we heard the reason was the market's not doing too well. So the market of gaming's not doing too well. Let's charge gamers more. That'll get them into it.
Oh man, we had to pay more for PlayStation Plus. I better go buy a PS4 myself so I can pay more.
Yeah. So people's comments were, well, good thing I have a Wii U where I can play games for free online. Or Xbox going like, oh, what's this? PlayStation's not so elite anymore. And then, of course, the
Come
PC
back to us
game.
for $60 a year.
Yeah. The PC gamers, of course, are like, hey, we get everything for free.
It's true. To be fair, though, if you're playing on the Wii U, then, like, let's be real here. You've got, like, what, half a dozen good games? So you're going to get bored pretty soon either way. So what's the point in bragging? Once you're done with Smash, and once you're done with Bayo 2, and once you're done with Super Mario Maker, then you've just got a brick lying on your floor that you don't care about.
Hyrule Warriors.
But how many times can you play a Muso game before going, yeah? I've killed 10,000 characters again. This is riveting.
Well, I think
How
you
many times?
you underestimate my dedication to the Muso game.
No, like, I'm not saying that, like, there's absolutely no value for anybody in Muso games, but, like, just coming from the perspective of somebody who used to play Dynasty Warriors on a fairly regular basis, you hit that point where it's like, what am I getting out of this anymore?
Yeah.
And ultimately it leads to nothing. But, to be fair, if that's your jam, then I'm not gonna tell you to stop.
No, trust me. I'm there. I may have just
Oh, okay.
bought the pack that had like Skull Kid and all them in it, so now I got to get them to max level, which is gonna be fun. But I actually found out that very soon, I think in a month actually, we're going to have Spirit Tracks, I think, or Phantom Hourglass pack coming out.
Really?
They're really scratching the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. We recently got a character from Link's Awakening.
All right.
Some red-haired
There you
chick
go.
that has a bell. She kind of looks like Malon. Shit, what was the other thing? Hold on. Sorry, I gotta quickly look it up because I knew something was like, oh, great, they want more money from me.
No problem. As you are looking that up, I will
Yep.
quickly drop in a piece of news as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been hinted that Duke Nukem is going to be making a comeback soon because the Duke site has apparently had some updates go on for the first time in a while, and there's been a countdown thrown up on there that ends coincidentally around the time that the Gearbox panel at PAX Prime is starting up. So it looks like we're going to get a Duke Nukem announcement soon. Whether or not this is the best time for it and whether anyone's going to trust that is up to you. But
Or whether anybody really cares at this point.
Yeah.
oh come on, you have to have forgiven them for Duke Nukem Forever, right?
Well,
No?
just as the title says,
Yeah.
I will never forgive them forever. No, mostly because I mean, like, I don't see the problem with Duke Nukem being dead. I don't think it's a series that you can really bring back to its glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a product of the time.
Exactly.
And, I mean, they had some pretty good games out there, but I mean, it's like, it's basically like Mighty Number 9. They tried to sell this nostalgia to everybody,
Yep.
and it kind of fell flat in their face. And I mean, geez, I mean, look at the Sonic team. They're trying to rewrap old presents and try and stuff them under the Christmas tree like they didn't give it to you like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But and so there's this huge sort of resurgence of, oh yeah, we'll just give you, the same things you liked way back when, but just with a different flavor, and we'll try and charge $60 for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of just reaching. I mean, basically it's the same as people saying, why are they remaking all these movies now? Oh, because people like the movies in the past, and it's been long enough that you could remake them.
Right.
To
be entirely fair, I'm not going to totally fault the good directors of these wonderful old IPs for that, because there's also enough people in these fan bases that hate change and are shouting for old stuff to come back. And like, okay, I don't want to say that all fans are shit, but there are enough people that are like, I want to be driven by nostalgia and scream for that. So it's like, there's a market for it, right?
Well, it's not that all fans are shit, it's all fandoms are shit.
You know what, Josiah? That's a much better way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's when two or more get together that they become pieces of garbage. Hence this podcast. But putting that aside, is that, see, they say that and they say that they want that, but they really don't want that. And let me tell you why. It's because they've been playing the old games 10 million times. They know all the tricks. They think they're experts at the game now, which they technically are of that game. And they think that they want something old, but what they really want is to be challenged, not just the same old one-trick pony. People can try and give them an almost same vanilla ice cream cone that they wanted from before, but a lot of the times it just falls flat in its face. Even then, I believe it was Aaron Hansen, Mr. Ego Raptor himself, who said this, one of my favorite quotes, and it's that game developers need to stop thinking about what everybody wants and start make what they want to make and what they're passionate about, and then so people will be interested in what they want to make instead of trying to cater to everybody. Because if you cater to everybody, you lose. If you try and cater to a specific group, you lose. Why? Because why are you trying to make all those people happy? You put your expectations and you put the bar so low on your own creative management because you're trying not to leave something out or to go too far in a certain direction so people won't hate it. I mean, just look at, American film and TV. I mean, it's all the same garbage recycled because they think that's what everybody wants because that's what everyone says they want. And then you see these breakout shows that try and push the boundaries and, try and get something really original. And some of them fail, but a lot of those ones become big cult classics and get a huge following, if not at the time, afterwards, And I know it's kind of hard to draw a parallel between, television and video games, but I mean, video games is so new to the scene. It's hard to compare them to any other type of media because they are different. I mean, like, you can compare them to board games, but I mean, like, it's a board game, I mean, it's like there's that you really can't. People don't get addicted to playing Sorry,
Yo, try telling that to me back when I was a kid because I was playing Trouble like you would not believe.
Yes, but you're not going along saying, "Man, I wish they made a much more updated, sleeker version of Trouble that still reminds me of the same old Trouble game I knew and loved." That's the different thing about interactive media is that we're still trying to trailblaze. I mean, it's only been out for what, like 30 years. Video games as we know them have been out. And I mean, just look at the leaps and bounds they've made. I mean, it's hard to just map that sort of success and kind of come up with an algorithm that always works. I mean, you can either be a Call of Duty or you can be Mighty Number 9. Yes. Unfortunately, if you land in the middle, everybody hates you.
You know what? I'm honestly glad that you mentioned this to me because it's going to help me expand my own way of looking at fan bases. So, you've got some good points here. So thank you.
Now, John, what you were looking up something?
Yes. So this is for the people who want to hear the current news on Hyrule Warriors. Otherwise, close your ears from the evil of Shigure Miyamoto here.
What an asshole.
What a lovable old, I hope he doesn't die soon bastard.
Right?
Let's face it, he seems like he's pretty immortal at the moment.
Yeah.
So speaking of the same shit over and over again, no, I mean, Shigure Miyamoto has new ideas all the time and doesn't go back to old stuff at all. He is constantly fresh. That's right.
Just like Will Smith.
So the information I got was, right now we got the playable character Marine from the Link's Awakening. You also got a new weapon for Linkle, which is Linkle's boots. In the fall, we are getting a new playable character from Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks.
Yeah.
As well as a new weapon for Toon Link. And
boy.
Yeah. And then finally, in the winter time, for all you kiddies, for a gift from Santa, you can get 2 new playable characters from A Link Between Worlds.
That makes sense to me. It's still fairly new. It's fairly hot. So, and I don't think that anything from Link Between Worlds has been represented in Warriors yet, anyway. So,
no.
Why not? Throw it in the pot.
So my thought is one of the characters they're gonna get is well, I don't want to spoil it because I found out who that character was, but the merchant that ends up being in your house, he's gonna be one of the characters.
I'm sorry. Is this an exclusive character for Link Between Worlds?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, then that's why I have no idea who this is. Okay.
He like dresses like a rabbit.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, well, speaking of disappointment, our good friends and savior of the world, Hideaki Anno, he just recently announced that he's going to be doing his first original animated series in a long time, just the other day. At least he's hinting at it, nothing confirmed for sure yet. But what this does is opens up a huge can of worms, because he just finished working on Godzilla Resurgence, of course. He was a big part of the writing team on that. But the bigger question is when are we getting Evangelion 4.0? The final movie that he's been promised for over 18 months. It was supposed to get released 18 months ago, no joke. And then he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta work on Godzilla now." And then and now, rumor has it, of course, not completely confirmed, but yeah, he's doing a new anime adaptation for an original work.
Yeah.
Which is great news in general, but also kind of rustles my Jimmy to an extent that dear old Harambe can feel up in heaven.
Listen,
because
it's gonna happen when Half-Life 3 comes out, so probably not in
I
our
think
lifetime.
you and my mom would get along very well, John. But no, the thing is, for me personally, and also for Mr. Sterling Silver, is that we have held off from watching the redo movies, Evangelion 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, that have already come out, because we are waiting for all of the redo movies to come out so we can all just watch it all at once, so we get a better consistency. And also, because he's been taking 18 months to get out the last one, we don't want to just be left hanging.
Yeah.
And so personally, I'm very razzled and dazzled that he's still indefinitely putting off the movie until he could muster up the courage to finish it, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, Josiah, I have just a very quick question.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to Evangelion, I've only ever read the manga. So I also don't know much about the rebuild movies whatsoever. So just to quickly ask, is how they work basically like we're redoing the canon, the original series doesn't matter, and this is how things are now, or how do those?
No, it's his own. I mean, the series is still the series. It's not trying to take over the canon.
Okay, good.
It's just a side project. It's a retelling of the story in a different light. It's not like a different light because it is a different story. Same characters, same sort of situation, but if the worst possible things happened.
Oh, so it's like a spin-off, basically.
Yeah, it's basically a spin-off, but it's not like the new Haruhi Suzumiya spin-off, where everybody's normal and everybody hates the show because everybody's normal and there's no magic to it. And they just completely gutted all the characters. But no, I mean, this one is just like, Shinji's going to still act like Shinji. The relationships are still there, but it's just different experiences than what happened the first time around.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and so that's also we really want to watch the other 3 movies.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's just like, he's being such a tease. But that hit the anime newsstands about 2 days ago, and so I could not escape it from my feed. So we'll just see what sort of series is coming out, if the movie will just mysteriously show up. I don't know. He's been so touch and go recently that it's hard to follow Anno's tracks and see where he's at all times.
Yeah.
But as long as we get that 4th movie, I'll be happy.
It'll eventually happen.
I hope so. I really do hope so. Because this is a very usual thing for Anno to have some sort of big idea like this and then just kind of drop it halfway through, then pick it up like years later.
Yeah. Anime artist, am I right?
Yeah, I know, right? Although he's not really much of an artist, he's more the director and writer. But moving on.
Yeah. Speaking
let's
of that, sorry.
Yeah.
Recently, I watched that Araki interview with Shokotan or whatever, and so I wanted to bring up two things. One, that I thought of while I was watching it. I realized if my quote-unquote made-up stand that we made up got stabbed, or if I got stabbed with the arrow again and lived, I could make a pretty OP stand, because it would go from anime characters and video game characters and that to real-life people. So if I said, oh gee, I really like this person, then that real-life person would die.
And then, so that's how we started Death Note, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or as he put it, Love Note, when he made the Love Note. He's like, yeah, I really like the Death Note, so I made the Love Note here. It's like, oh, okay. And then the other thing was, he said that Star Platinum is unbeatable.
But we have pretty factual proof he's not unbeatable.
That's what I wanted to bring up. Quickly, try to think of one stan or a fault of Star Platinum that proves the creator of the series wrong on his own ideas.
The final act of Tusk, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, would probably absolutely just, given the right opportunity, D4C would completely destroy him. The final act of Tusk, GER.
Now, what you're forgetting, Matt, is that Dirty Deeds Done Cheap and the final act of Tusk are all in a separate universe than Star Platinum.
This is very, very true, Josiah. Like, I'm not going to say that's not true, but okay. Spoilers for anyone who is reading Steel Ball Run right now. So yeah, okay. We have seen, however, that the world showed back up in Steel Ball Run.
Yep.
So
no, it does, but in part 8, which I don't think you're too into at this point, because it shows that the family tree, the Joestar family tree, very much differs, and that some of the Joestars aren't there anymore. Jotaro being one of them.
Right. No, like, you're totally right. I'm just saying that the fact that the world showed up in the next universe shows that cosmic anomalies like this can happen from some of the more OP stands out there. So just saying, like, if a dream match somehow happened, like an Eyes of Heaven situation, kind of like that thing.
Yeah.
And somehow Star Platinum was faced off against D4C or GER. Well, no, GER, same universe. So final act of Tusk, so on and so forth. It could lose. It could. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm basically saying, like, anything outside of Star Platinum's range. Because that's something he must have forgot about. Star Platinum has a certain range at which he can attack.
Well, yeah,
but it can fire bullets.
Star Platinum is definitely a very close range stand, but like, you could try and fucking shoot it and it wouldn't care, as we saw from episode 1 of Stardust.
Yeah. But I mean, like, there's just so many stands that are distance that could, use an attack from afar. And like like what we saw with Rat, I mean, he kind of did let himself get hit, but like, Rat was a pretty good counterpart to Star Platinum.
Well, the only reason the Bug Eaten was so hard to do anything is because it's the size of a rat.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
at the distance, if it was a regular person and not an animal stand, it would freaking Jotaro would have turned him in. I mean, yeah, he would have mincemeated him immediately. Just ordered him out of the solar system.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal because then he could just stop time, get close enough, and then just beat him into the ground. But with a rat, if he misses, that's just the thing, is that it was circumstantial, and that's the only way that sort of weakening of a character can work like that, or at least that instance of weakening or weakness.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Sorry. Can you imagine if Dio and the world were both the size of rats?
Matt, I can imagine anything.
Yeah, in JoJo.
I mean, humans technically can imagine anything. So,
yeah,
that's my stand.
Fair enough.
It's called pure imagination.
Ooh.
See, any stand can be any stand if you want it to.
Well, like that's the beautiful.
Anything I want, I can do it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the beautiful thing about JoJo is that like you look at a stand like Crazy Diamond or Star Platinum and be like, oh, that's like an unbeatable stand. How do you beat that stand? And then they're thrown into a situation.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden they're not so god tier, and it's like everything is dependent upon the writing, which is the way that it should be. Yeah. It should be. Like
that's how JoJo's Bizarre Adventure effectively told the Superman story better than Superman.
Yeah.
Yep. No argument here.
Well, let's get on to the homework then, shall we?
Let's do it.
Now, I actually looked up the official IMDb for this movie, and apparently the English title is just called Woochi, which I think is much easier to say. And I don't much simpler and a better title, just in general, than the other one. So we have Jian Woochi, and John, I believe you were telling me you had some special words of encouragement.
Yeah. Just basically the reason why I picked it was just, if you read the summary, you'll see two words that just pop out at you. One, wizard. So you're like, oh, great, a movie about a wizard. That's going to be cool. Then the other thing is, he has a human companion who is a dog. And I was like, what? Okay, now we need to watch this.
Yep.
That's how I decided it. So would anyone like to start describing what they liked about it or whatever as I think up? Because I watched it on Monday and I have to remember everything.
I watched it today.
Yeah.
So I would.
As did I.
Fair enough. I would be more than happy to take that over for you, buddy.
Perfect, thank you.
So, Woochi is a story about, like, a complete scoundrel wizard. I believe that's even what they call him, Woochi the Scoundrel. And he's just a guy that he hates to train, he hates to, do the right thing. Well, not do the right thing so much, but like he's a crass kind of youthful wizard who uses his magic for mischief. And he goes on a quest back into the past. Sorry, I fucked that up. Back into the future to fight evil wizards and hit rats with sticks and do all kinds of magical things of that nature. He falls in love, which is well,
no.
Yeah. When aren't you gonna see a movie nowadays where the line "he falls in love" is applicable at some point? So the romance in this movie is pretty nothing. Like, what do the two of them really have going for them? It's like they see one another, and just fuck it. Like, Woochi's master is like, listen, do not fall for her. This chick will fucking kill you. And Woochi's like, nah, man, she's hot. I don't care if you are vastly wiser, vastly more powerful, and vastly more knowledgeable than me. I'm pretty sure that I know what's good. He's just like, okay, time to go after this girl. There are some, the actual choreography on the fight scenes is like, I've seen worse, but I have also seen much better.
Well,
yep.
I mean, let me just preface that in which this is supposed to be a goofy movie,
Oh yeah.
but not the goofy movie. Let me separate those two terms, because there is an actual goofy movie.
Really?
But no, I mean, it's supposed to have a certain amount of flamboyancy when he fights. And so that's why a lot of the choreography is the way he does. Just to preface that is that it's not the tone of the fighting is almost never super serious, except for the last fight.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a fair point. But still, okay. Sorry, I can't recall off the top of my head. Do either of you know when this was made?
2009.
Like which year? Do either of you know?
2009. Can you not hear me, John? Or Matt? Yeah.
Sorry, did you not catch that?
No, did you hear what I said? I've said 2009 3 times now.
Okay, sorry. Then it's my audio that's cutting out. It's
Yes.
my fault. Everything's bad on my end. So
Spoilers.
So 2009. I don't know, like. I guess based on how the standards of CG were a few years ago, I guess it's kind of understandable. But no, like I took a look at the special effects in the fight scenes, and even though I know it's not supposed to be like incredibly sharp or even serious whatsoever, I'm taking a look at this, and I'm just thinking of shit like Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And
Oh, it's a little bit better than that.
it's it's a bit better. Like I don't want to be too harsh, but I just kept thinking to myself, man, this is not the most fun thing to look at. But in spite of that, it did what it was supposed to do, which was to have fun with, to goof around with, to entertain. At the end of the day, if a movie entertained you, then it did what it was put here to do. So, it did its job. I forget the name of the guy who can turn into a dog, but he
That would be Mr. Was it Chorangi?
Chirangi, yes. He kind of stole the show. Was
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he was kind of a goofy asshole, which you know worked out well. But his laugh, just his overall mannerisms, kept forcing me to crack a smile. So, you know, I did enjoy that. That was not bad. Overall, I'd have to say this is about like a 6.5. It's definitely not terrible by any means, but you know, I've seen better. But it was a nice way to spend first part of my Sunday. Don't know if I'd rewatch this, but it wasn't terrible, not by any means. And that's about it for me.
Well, as far as this goes, the first thing I thought of while watching it was Kung Fu Hustle. It's very much in the same sort of parody-like area of that, but instead of China, it's Korea. And as far as it goes, I wouldn't be too harsh on this, on the special effects and the CG, because I think, they're pretty tastefully done. I mean, there wasn't too much that would just kind of pull you out of it. The demons were a little but I mean, besides that, as far as a beer tier movie goes, it was done pretty well and pretty good story. I really liked it. I liked what were they called? The three gods. Those guys were hilarious all the time. And of course, Chong Rang-yi was, of course, he was stealing the show a lot of the times, and like just his mannerisms, like you said, like he would click, or like he would just like make jeers at Woochi while he was trying to do something or this or that, and or when they're in like the little restaurant in the town square, and he's just like, "Oh, you need help,"
Yeah.
He was just like the perfect, like almost like buddy cop type guy, And I mean, it was. I mean, I didn't really expect much coming in, and I came out fairly pleased. I mean, wizard, like you said, arrogant wizard. He really isn't a wizard though until he becomes full Harry Potter at the end. But as far as that goes, it was just funny to see him beat up on all those people, impersonate, a god descending to heaven. Just see him do all those pranks, and of course see him in the common society, and then I don't know, no spoilers, but the twist at the end with Cho Rang-yi was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that was good.
No, like you said, the romance was a little forced, but in a lot of Korean dramas and films like this, it's pretty standard, so I'm not going to grade against it for it, because I mean that's usually around where it needs to be. But I mean, besides that, the acting was stupendous. I mean, all the actors were really good. I never really got pulled out of the film, nothing really just kind of broke the immersion for me. It flowed nicely. There was a good change of pace a couple different times. And as far as set goes, the set changed a lot. It was really well put together. There were some really good choreographed scenes with with the drain pipe and him trying to scale up the apartment wall and knocking all those air conditioners down. But I mean, for what it was, I mean, it was pretty good. Now, that being said, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's not. I mean, it's still a B rank movie, not a double or AAA. Amazing, change your life, or look at all these amazing fight scenes. I mean, it was what it was. It was done really well. I was fairly entertained. I'd definitely watch it again. I would definitely show it to other people as well. But that's just about what I have to say about it, though.
I guess all I have is kind of like more footnote type things / jokes, because I don't take shit seriously.
That's fine.
Definitely for reviews. Josiah, you and Sterling are kind of more the we have actual facts about this shit. We actually did our research. Matt, you're more of the straightforward, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like, and I'm the guy who just makes jokes and doesn't take anything fucking seriously. So,
it's all good.
Let's see. As we said, for the fighting, it's not serious fighting, so don't expect that. It's more like if you're just watching Dante from Devil May Cry fighting, just being a cocky asshole the whole time while fighting. And, not taking shit very seriously. He is also like Uncle from Jackie Chan's Adventures, because he uses talismans as weapons for magic. And as Uncle would say, magic must defeat magic. So, what else? Oh, I did like how the quote-unquote goblins, as they were called, that looked like rats and rabbits, had rhinoceros sounds.
Oh, yeah.
So that was enjoyable. Don't know why they picked those type of sounds, but whatever. As for CG and that, that's understandable too, because let's see, because I am the Kamen Rider fucking geek that I am, the series that would have came out around this time for Kamen Rider was Decade and Double. And they didn't have exactly the best CGI either. but they worked with what they had available. So, and as for the romance, as you guys were talking about, it was pretty much like, as the master was like, no, that's a bad idea, and then, the wizard was just like, yeah, but I want to give her the D. So,
priorities.
Yeah, exactly. And as he was taking her home, trying to keep her safe there, just, because he felt like it, he got to talking to her, and she's like, oh, I want to see the ocean, or the beach, or whatever, and then he's like, okay, here we go. Oh, look, it's the ocean, because magic. And, yeah, that's kind of where their romance comes in, I guess. It's just like, I took you to the ocean. Don't you love me now? And,
Chicks love the ocean.
Exactly. She got all wet. And he kind of does that when he goes in the future. He's just like, I gotta ask you, do you like sewing? Do you like reading? The two things she said she didn't like in the past because it's a different girl right now, just like an ancestor or whatever. And, but he's like, do you want to go see the ocean? 'Cause I can do that. It's like, oh, dude, look at this tension, sexual tension that you can cut with a fucking carving knife here. And as you said, the lackey, the beast boy that he had with him was enjoyable to watch. He wasn't just a dog, he was also a horse. Through magic.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally one of those movies where, it's magic. It doesn't have to explain shit. So don't ask questions when watching it.
Yep.
So yeah. You guys are more of a ratings person. So all I can say is just because I love them so much, if you went back to the past with Samurai Jack to 2009 and you wound up in Japan and you somehow spoke fluent Japanese and everything, instead of traveling to Korea to see this, check out a Decade movie, as good as they are, correct? Or a Double movie.
Alright.
Because Kamen Rider is amazing.
No, we all know it. Except for Matt. He doesn't know anything.
I know I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot because I still have yet to check out Kamen Rider.
Really, you check it out if you're a fan of stuff like Power Rangers or
Good Things.
Ultraman. Yeah, because basically it's just superhero stuff.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
So yeah, I don't really have a rating. It's just if you want to watch it, if it sounds fun, watch it. You heard the guys' ratings, and like I said though, if you had a choice from that time of era, just go watch Kamen Rider. Because Kamen Rider's amazing.
Alright, Matt, our resident Berserk expert. What did you think about the newest episode?
Well, I am enjoying the action coming to a bit more of a climax as far as the whole Guts Casca reunion goes. Like, you can only okay, there's people who got spoiled on Berserk, or at least checked out Berserk chronologically, like people who checked out Golden Age stuff. And if that's what you did, no problem. It's fine. So if you know what happened to Casca, and you're really itching to see the climax of the reunion of Guts and Casca and how that's gonna go, or even if you've just started from Berserk 2016 and it's the mystery of what the fuck happened to Casca, regardless of which situation you're in, it's gonna be great to finally see everything come to a head and be like, alright, either I don't know why Guts loves this girl so much, or I do, and that's why this is so fucking great. Either way, seeing the reunion finally sort of fully come into its own is great, because either way, the romance between Guts and Casca is great, because it's not about the romance itself per se. Like, there's clearly a lot of love here, but it doesn't have to be mentioned, it doesn't have to be talked about, it doesn't have to be Guts saying, oh man, I fucking love my bae Casca so much and I'd do anything for her. Because you'd see him doing literally anything to find her. And that's the best kind of romance, the kind that doesn't have to be said, but instead is simply demonstrated. So, you know, seeing all of that come to a head is really nice. It's always nice seeing Puck trying to do something, trying to get a hit in, so to speak, even when he really never could. No matter how
wait.
little. Like, don't worry. I'm sure that things are gonna, like, I fully expect like a scene coming up where Puck is like the fucking hero of heroes. I can see it coming. I don't think that's too implausible. So I'm looking forward to seeing future shenanigans with Puck, because as we have mentioned before, his inclusion in Berserk is completely necessary and completely forgivable even for people who don't like him. Because when you've got a series this fucked up and gruesome, you need your comic relief. And he does that job splendidly. Like, at first, I just thought, like, it's a passable job. Puck just does his thing and whatever. But now he's growing on me. I actually like him. He's not a bad character. And his voice actor, as we mentioned earlier, is starting to like that guy too. So, yeah, I don't wanna say too much, because I guess if anyone does listen in but also wants to check out Berserk for themselves, I don't know how likely that is, but you know, just in case, I might as well keep it a little bit vague. But I don't know, just seeing tensions between Guts, Serpico, Barnice, and yet in the middle of all of it, the rescue of Casca feels really nice, because at this point it's like, once everything is said and done with this arc, what's even going to happen? Like, do Guts and Serpico and Barnice become friends? Do they not? How is shit going to work out? And for those of you wonderful people who are up to date with the manga, there's really not much that can be said that can spoil you, but for those of us who are just here, like, you know, what's going to become of this? Is this going to become like a Goku and Vegeta thing, or are they going to be hating each other till the end of time? And seeing all of that in the midst of this rescue feels good. Overall, just I'm enjoying the direction that Berserk is heading, and which is weird. It feels weird to say that, because my first breakdown of the first couple episodes was funny. In hindsight, it's like, fuck everything about all of these visuals, this is garbage. And now I've come to this, and I don't know. I guess not much can be said apart from the fact that things are stepping up. And slowly, I hope slowly but surely, newcomers are gonna look at Berserk and respect it for what it is and what it deserves to be seen as. So yeah, long story short, things are getting better. Character relations are excellent in this series. And please look forward to episode 10. I'll leave it at that. Who would like to take the ball from me?
I sadly got to still think on some things, so if you don't mind, Josiah.
Oh, I'll take it. I'll take this bullet for you this one time. But as far as Berserk goes, it's great. It's following the manga right well. Soon enough, we're gonna have to play a game of Who's That Pokemon that Sterling and I have been hinting at for the last 4 weeks. once we reach that certain part that we're coming up to. But that'll be interesting. As far as aesthetics go, I thought that it was pretty good. It hasn't dropped in quality too much. At least not either I'm starting to care less or it hadn't actually done that. I'm not quite sure which is the case. Sometimes it's a little both, but
Yep.
no, as far as direction goes, it's going good. There wasn't anything that really kind of broke the episode for me, so to speak. It was really just more of a setup for the big showdown Guts gonna have with the Angel or the Kid Icarus squad there. But besides, I mean, it's really hard to come up with things to say when you already, read the manga twice through and watched all the other syndicated media appearances from Berserk. It's just, at this point, I'm just happy that we're going in a straight line again instead of just making up crap and hoping that people won't mind the continuity shift like they did in the fourth or the third episode, somewhere around there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, so far so good. The last 3 episodes have been chugging along at least a decent pace. No real filler, nothing really holding it up. Nothing really slowed it down either. It just all seems pretty good pacing from the source material, and pretty accurate too as well. But besides that, I mean, there's not much else I could say. There wasn't anything too embarrassing or anything too great this time around. It was just kind of a pretty good episode as far as it goes. John?
Okay, so what's a few things that went on? As stated, there was the trip back to the creepy sex dungeon. And shit happened there. A bunch of evil shit.
Well, Jelly Jiggler turned red and got really
exactly.
angry.
Let's see what else. There was
Don Patch tried to rip out Guts' eyes.
There was a Family Guy. He was I don't know, trying to impress the chick. He seems like he kind of wants to be like Kira, he just wants to live a peaceful life. So he'll do nothing wrong.
Yep.
Ever. There was Dark Wraith in this episode.
Yep.
Pillarmen. Because someone threw one of the Pillarmen. The Heartless that I mentioned became a Flying Heartless. And yeah, I can't really think of many angels. The only one that I thought of was, of course, that Dark Souls reference of the 3 big fat asses on the tower that come down and attack you with the wings there. The angel dudes.
I just thought it was really progressive and a little political that they put that girl in there, and she gave up her own life for Harambe. She did suicide for Harambe.
Yeah.
And then freaking Skull Knight came down and said, "Nope, not today."
Yeah.
He white knighted so hard he saved someone's life.
That's right. The Dark Wraith was so pleased with her memeing that he saved her life, and he said, "You will meme once again. Stay with me if you want to come." So, yeah. Oh, let's something that did happen recently, and just because it's Berserk, and you know what we have to always reference with Berserk, Miyazaki. Did you guys get to see the DLC for Dark Souls 3?
I have not.
I have heard about it. I have not seen the assets yet.
It kind of looks like you're going back to the painted world. But there's snow. Holy shit, snow! As Maximilian dude pointed out. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's gonna be somewhat Norse related. Because there's a guy kind of looks like Odin that's attacking with a big axe. Plus they had a giant wolf, which people are thinking it's Sif.
Yeah.
For some reason. Even though technically should Sif not exist in this timeline? Like, did the person paint Sif?
They'll retcon it in whether or not we want it to.
We gotta do what Plague says, kidnap Miyazaki and, you know, make him tell us. Which then he'll just say, I don't know, fucking big wolf, it was cool, I just put it in there.
Yep. And I love Dark Souls lore. So honestly, it's one of the best ways to handle lore.
Yeah.
It's not shoved in your face. It's like, do you want to find out the plot? You can if you want to.
Yeah.
Do you just want to have fun playing the video game? Don't worry, it's been streamlined for that purpose too.
Do you want people like Vadi to tell you what he thinks the lore is? Do you want to hear Plague of Gripes talk about a certain stone for 3 hours?
That is also an option.
Yes, very yes.
So, I mean, that was interesting. We got to see you get a torch that you can now blow fire with.
Nice.
Cool.
So we get a new torch as a weapon. There's 2 new spells. One is kind of like a light frisbee that you throw, and then it'll actually come back towards you. So if you can like move your character around in PvP, you could hit them twice with it.
A Destructo Disc?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like a destructive disc that comes back to you. The other spell is like a kind of like an ice beam that you shoot in front of you. As for creatures, there's these fly creatures now that kind of resemble the kind of like the mosquito women from Bloodborne. There's also wolves now that attack you. So it kind of seems like there's going to be some Bloodborne stuff in this. They showed only like 2 other things that I can really think of that are kind of important. Like, you can watch it and then you'll see what I'm talking about. There's an NPC that hands you a parchment of what we think is the painting. And that's what starts off the quest. There's going to be lore behind that. We don't know who this old man is, but you know, he's going to have some significance to the painted world. People think Guinevere is going to be one of the bosses in this area for some reason. And the final thing is, it shows kind of one boss who people think is either... Oh, shit. You guys might have to remind me. Is it Velka, the one that's related to the crows?
I've got to be honest, I know quite a bit less about what's specifically being talked about here than you guys probably do, so I can't do much.
Yeah, I'm not good with names as it is,
Okay.
and I'm not as deep into Dark Souls as Mr. Silver and you are, John. Unfortunately, you know, he's not here to back you up, so...
Yeah. Well, I think it's Velka, and she's kind of like the whole crow person that has been hinted out throughout like almost every game of the series. So it's either her, which would be amazing. People think it might be Guinevere because there's kind of like a lord's vessel that she's kind of using as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So they think, it could. What if it's Guinevere? But people are saying,
Thank you.
why would Guinevere be wearing crow feathers and shit? And then the final thing is obviously people are just saying it's a total different boss that we've never seen and has nothing to do with any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can basically say is there's some things that we see, like Sif and all that, that makes you think and go, okay, is this related to Dark Souls 1 they've been trying to do to get people into it? Or, is it just, here's some DLC with some cool shit with some new lore, have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everything turns out with that. I'm sure that as soon as it comes out, Facebook will just be crawling with people either praising, complaining, or both.
Yeah. Two other things, I guess, and these are just quick. Are either of you interested in the Dissidia arcade game that's in for Japan?
Well, I do feel pretty strongly about Final Fantasy, but I can try Dissidia if I'd like to. I just haven't gotten around to it, so I'm not nuts about it, I guess.
They just announced a new character that's joining the roster, which is Type Zero's Ace.
Is that the mobile game?
Yeah.
Nope, not interested at all.
Yeah, it's like the one where the character uses cards and shit.
Yeah, super not interested.
Yeah.
So now that I know that this is a Dissidia mobile game, I'd have to say I'm probably pretty come on, speak. I'm also probably pretty uninterested now as well.
Oh no, the game itself is an arcade machine, like an arcade fighting machine.
Oh, okay.
It's just this character's from, it's either he's from a mobile game or it's one that the best friends played, and basically people bought that game because it came out with a demo of 15.
Oh, Type Zero, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that in stores. Got released for the 360 and the PS3, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So I don't think it's a mobile one, but
No, it didn't.
it's one of the ones where even the best friends played and they're kind of just it's meh. But, that I just found interesting because it's okay, well, here's another character that's coming out for the game. And if anyone liked that character, now they know. And the final thing is, do either of you know who Tiger Mask is from wrestling?
That sounds familiar, but no.
He's getting his own anime.
Man, how many years do I have to wait for my Stone Cold Steve Austin anime?
So I feel like I'm going to check this out because there's a slight possibility that this could be Kinnikuman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to see Austin go, Kane Senpai. After all that we've been through, this is the fight that it must come down to.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man.
One has a Rasengan, one has a Chidori.
They start playing the theme when Yugi had to deal Joey Wheeler.
Yeah.
from the 4Kids dub. We were just like brothers.
Yeah.
Now we gotta fight each other.
Oh yeah, Stone Cold could be there and it'd be like, Kane, it's time to duel. And then Kane would just be like, nyeh? What you saying, you? Yeah. I'm sorry that I'm killing you with this.
No, this is great. This is probably the most fun I've had all day.
Yeah, so that was
Thank
just
you.
two things that I thought, might be slightly interesting.
Thank you, John. That paid off 100-fold.
Definitely newsworthy. All right. Well, on that note, John, what are you looking forward to this week?
I am probably going to check out Assassination Classroom.
Yeah, boy.
I am excited for, I don't know if it's this week, but I'm just saying, period, in the near future, there is the Kamen Rider Ghost movie coming out, like the newest one. And it's been hyping me up with all the trailers for it, so that is going to be good. Plus, I'm just excited for tomorrow when I can actually watch the newest episode of Ghost, because I'm actually all caught up now, and Ghost is pretty much done. Let's see, anything else? I don't think there's really any games, because the next one I'm most excited for is Final Fantasy 15, and that's been pushed to November.
Ah, man, it's a shame.
Yeah. So,
Look on the bright side, though. You don't have to wait until Valentine's Day like I am for Persona 5. You've got it alright.
yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Persona, but for some reason Persona 5 kind of pushed me away from wanting it. I don't know.
So you were a fan of a 3 or 4?
Yeah, I'm a
I'm
fan of 3 and 4. 3 the most, which people get pissed off at me because they're like, fuck you, Minato's retarded.
No, 3 is solid. Like, I do prefer 4, but 3 is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
So no worries.
I've had people where it's like, why do you like Minato when Minato had to sacrifice his life when you did the same thing but kept his life? I was like, doesn't that technically make Minato the better character? Because he had to use self-sacrifice? And I don't want to spoil it, but, you know, he does turn into something.
He turns into something pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard, even.
But he does get that one day. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably end up getting Persona 5, just not right away. Not unless I got not unless someone gives me $1,000 that day or something.
Right.
But that's just because it's like, as soon as I saw the main character, I was kind of fine with it. But the more and more I thought about it, it's like, am I playing as Tuxedo Mask?
That's what makes it great.
That, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, I get it. You know, we've been waiting a long time.
We have.
4 is amazing. 5 does look amazing. It does. It's just, for right now, I'm more excited about Final Fantasy 15 than I am Persona. And of course, Kingdom Hearts 3, the game that I'm most excited for, other than the new Zelda game that's coming out. That
I believe you mean Kingdom. I'm sorry, John, to interrupt you, but I believe you mean Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
Right, 2.8.5.70.
Patch 16.
Yeah.
Dream Drop Distance. HD remaster.
This time it's not just a dream.
The Ocarina of
the
Time
future.
crossover.
Starring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
And Lubu.
Ultra Street Fighter.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, those are like the 2 games I'm most excited for. Then it would be like Final Fantasy 15. And then Persona 5 would, I almost said Persona 15. Holy shit.
We're almost there.
Only, man.
Yeah, almost
One
there.
day.
Yeah, but then Persona 5 would come after that.
Right. Cool.
So yeah, anything else I'm excited for? I might try Decade out tonight. So take a step back in time for that. What do you think, Josiah? Should I finish Wizard or start?
You don't necessarily have to finish Wizard. Decade is only like 20 some odd episodes, so it's really fast to get through.
I just don't know how I'm gonna react to Kuga, because Kuga's been my favorite for a while, and then
You'll hate it at the beginning, but then you'll learn to like the really good parts in New Kuga.
Yeah.
So that's just how it is. You just gotta accept. It's just you just gotta accept it, John. You just gotta sit there and take it.
I know. It's just I'm not gonna be like the other people where it's like this is awful, complete shit because it rehashed the world. I mean, this is like part.
It works in the end though. That's the thing. You just gotta stick to it to the end, and everything works.
Yeah, I mean, like this is part 7 Kamen Rider for JoJo. It's like kind of an alternate universe thing, and just whatever. That's the way I'm gonna view it.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't compare it directly to Part 7 because Part 7 is much better than Decade is in. Part 7 is much better in the JoJo franchise than Decade is in the Kamen Rider franchise. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah. But then once I do Decade, I can move backwards to the the ever-loving and depressing Kiva.
Oh, it's not that depressing.
Anyways, yeah, that's what I'm
What's
excited.
depressing is that they use Kiva's actor in the first episode of Decade, and then when they go to Kiva's world, they don't have the actor anymore. They have his younger alter ego at like age 7. And it's like, you had the actor. This is the one right after Kiva. Why couldn't you secure the actor for the 2 episodes you need him in? No, then you just keep him in the first episode because that makes sense. And he's only in it for like 2 seconds.
They could have done what Den-O did and had like a little kid Kamen Rider.
The best thing about Decade is that Den-O does not show up. They go to their world. You get to see the what are they called?
Imagine or whatever.
Imagines. Yeah, Imagines.
No, fuck.
And you get to see them because they're what everybody cares about because they're the actual good parts.
Yeah.
And you get to see them but Den-O does not make an appearance, and so it's great.
Yeah. So here's a hint, Matt. If you do want to check out Kamen Rider, don't start with Den-O.
Like, do people typically start with Den-O?
No.
By mistake?
No, most people would normally start off with probably Kuga.
Okay. I just want to make sure this isn't like one of those JoJo situations where it's like, hey, I want to start checking out JoJo.
Yeah.
What do I start with? Stardust Crusaders.
Do
not do that.
For the most part, Kamen Riders, they'll have crossover movies and stuff.
Right.
But they don't live in the same world, kind of. It only started.
They do
doing
and then
it.
they don't.
Yeah.
Once Decade happens, they do. All the worlds. I mean, that's what happens because you finished Fives.
Yeah.
And in Fives, you learn that they're all in the same world now, and that's because of what happens in Decade.
Yeah. And even then, it's like you said, it's from Decade on, right? So all the other ones don't know of each other.
Yeah, it's Decade after that you kind of have to know some of the background.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to know one to start off with, Matt, I could say Kuga because that's one where most people would start off.
And it's great to start with.
Yeah, it is great to start with. But another one that's great to start off with is Double. That's great. O's is great, and Fours is great. Like Forza is great.
I don't know. O's is a little deep in the Kamen Rider verse to just start out with, though.
Anyways,
either way, I'll probably give these a gander. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you want, I can send you a link on the chat or whatever.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah.
All right. So is that all you're looking forward to?
Again, it's like you said, we could probably, like you and I could probably have a 2-hour to 3-hour friggin' podcast on Kamen Rider.
I'd have to freshen up a little bit because it's been a while since I watched.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty much what I'm excited for. Then, if you guys can think of something that I should check out for anime that's, not really Ichi-ish and,
Ecchi.
Yeah. And
So what you're trying to tell me is you're not interested in Boku no Pico.
No, I am not excited in Boku no Pico number 3, which I guess is a thing.
Soft.
And sorry, no monster Masune.
Now that's actually got some plot to it.
I'm sure it does. It's just I could tell already it's something that I wouldn't exactly enjoy. Like, I think I read a manga on it.
Oh, the manga is much worse than the anime. The manga is borderline hentai.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh.
The anime is much more dumbed down for actually being shown on live television.
Yeah. Well, anyways, if you guys want to post something that's like not that, and it's kind of, you know, the shonen-ish, like you know the things that I watch for shonen, it's like Shaman King, fuck, of course,
Bleach.
Yu-Gi-Oh. No, but I did watch Naruto.
Stone Cold versus King.
Yeah, Stone
Is
Cold versus King.
Timeless classic.
Is Hero Academia, is that shonen?
Yeah, it's shonen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's shonen.
Yeah, I've seen that. So it's stuff like that, and like Yu Yu Hakusho and all that stuff.
Right on.
So basically anything that's kind of overrated.
Yu Yu Hakusho is not overrated.
And for newbie anime watchers, I guess.
Just go watch Ping Pong.
Oh, okay. Anyways, yeah, you can just post links to that in the chat, like I'm gonna do for Matt with Kamen Rider. So, anyways, yeah, that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for the Kamen Rider movie. I'm excited for checking out some new animes and stuff. Yeah, and even Decade.
All right, who you pass the torch to, John?
You might as well go, Josiah, and then we can let Matt, the birthday boy, finish us off.
All right. As far as what I'm looking forward to, of course, I'm looking forward to the new Digimon Tri movie, which is finally coming out. Also, it just popped up to my attention that there is a new Makoto Shinkai movie. And for those who don't know, we watched a couple of his films already on previous homeworks. He is the guy who directed 5 centimeters per second, Garden of Words, Voices of a Distant Star, Children Who Chase Lost Voices, and a couple other films as well. But his new film just came out last month, which means it'll soon enough pop up in a place where I can get it. And it's called, it's called Kimi no Nawa, or Your Name. And so I'm very excited because I'm going to try and get my hands on that ASAP. Because if you don't know, I'm a pretty big fanboy of Mr. Shinkai. Besides that, there's not much else I'm super looking forward to, except for 3rd season of Rick and Morty is supposed to be coming out here pretty soon. So that I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, freaking Godzilla Resurrection. That should be, or Resurgence or whatever. I forget the ad lib there, but it should be coming out pretty soon as well. I think it's coming out a little bit further out, but it's finally getting on my radar again after they announced that you have to wait forever.
Should we do that as homework?
We might be able to do that as homework. We've done some movies before. We did the new Star Wars as homework at the time, and that's actually where we started doing our homework, with stuff like that, going to see the newest movies. And we did Captain America 3 as one of the homeworks as well.
It's just because this is probably going to be on Kiss Asian, right?
Yeah, it'll probably be on there. It'll probably be on some other places too. But we'll just see what we get to see.
Yep.
But besides that, there's not much else. Of course, I'm always waiting for that new Pokemon Go update that's gonna, either introduce trading or get some of the second gen into the game. But who knows when that's gonna happen? Because they just keep on promising soon. And you know what soon stands for?
Elvangelion?
No.
Duke Nukem Forever?
Oh.
No. No, soon stands for Suckers Only Own Nuances. If you don't know what that means, then I would suggest you go read a book like Mr. Sterling Archer would say. Speaking of which, I did get just a little side note here, I did get the new Loot Crate the other day.
Yeah.
And it came with a Sterling Archer t-shirt for him running for president for 2016.
Nice.
Very patriotic, all red, white, and blue. It's definitely jumped up to the top of my favorite shirts from Loot Crate so far.
Yeah.
Besides that, you got some socks, a Harley Quinn little stand with her with a giant hammer. It's done by this new company that they've started using at Loot Crate called Q-Figs.
Yeah.
And I've got one of the Incredible Hulk and one of Deadpool as well. The Deadpool one was the first one that they started putting in the Loot Crate from Q-Fig, and they are so much better than like the Indie Pop or whatever, or Funko Pop. You know, those crappy like True Noble head-sized, you know, fan characters that all look the same because they don't have any distinguishing features except for different costumes.
Yeah.
And so instead of having that garbage, they actually give you a nice 4-inch, 5-inch little standing figure.
Yeah.
That's excellently painted and detailed. And so I am very happy with Loot Crate as of so far. They've been a lot better than they were when they first started out, and so I have definitely not regretted my subscription at all. And speaking of Loot Crate, this podcast is actually being sponsored by Loot Crate now. If you'd like to go and get our $3 off your new subscription today, just go to Loot Crate Anime / SAF podcast, and that's podcast with a K. Emails went back and forth and then misspelled it, but just use your imagination and you'll be able to get that $3 discount on your subscription. And
Josiah, I am so angry at you right now. I am so mad because I was seconds away from making this exact same joke, word for word, but you ousted me.
Matt, you don't know how many times I've already made that joke in this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then I'm simply behind the times.
Well, this is season 4. I try and bring it out every season. But
that's fine.
Oh, as
Great
far
minds
as that
think
goes, how about the birthday boy? What are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to preparing jokes ahead of time, so I can be the one to drop the ball on people. That's my homework. That's my homework to myself for the next podcast. I'm so mad right now. No, not really. It's all good.
As Sonic the Hedgehog would say, you gotta step it up.
Gotta go fast.
No, I believe Sonic the Hedgehog in this sort of situation would have said, "You're too slow."
Yeah.
He would have said that, and then he would have ran on the spot like an asshole. He would have done his dumb taunt from Smash.
And burned out on your floor.
Because you see, Matt, from now on, I'm actually gonna do a JonTron thing, and I'm actually gonna write a script up ahead of time, so I actually have jokes and just don't make it up on the fly like Rick and Morty.
Ah, perfect. You are a clever man.
I've sold out.
Right.
Were you ever original to begin with?
Have you guys ever heard of The Best Friends? Do you want to hear their content referenced? Just come on. I'm gonna cut myself short. Okay. Yeah. So me, I'm looking forward to playing Shining Force. Big fucking shocker there. I bet you didn't see that coming. Shining Force 2. I'm not even gonna bother at this point. Like, okay, I'll bother with one thing. Like, it's it's Fire Emblem but better. Which sounds fucked up to say because it doesn't have the features that Fire Emblem has. It doesn't have character relationship building in the middle of combat. It doesn't have marriage. It doesn't have like the weapon triangle. It doesn't have a bunch of stuff that Fire Emblem does, but it's simple, it's more pure, it's goofier, and I just find it more fun. So, if you're ever in the mood for a tactical RPG, go play Shining Force 2. If you didn't catch the name of that game, don't worry, I'm going to mention it quite a few times on this podcast from here on out. Hopefully people don't get too sick of it. Yeah, Shining Force 2 is what I'm looking forward to. No, well, I'm going to continue reading Bram Stoker's Dracula. I'll try and see if there's something interesting that I can talk about that the book has taught me on the podcast, but it's very likely that's not going to happen because it's a classic book. It's a hell of a good book, but a lot of people already know what it's all about, so not much I can bring to the table. But that's okay. I'm going to continue reading JoJo. I finished the... See, with JoJo, with me, it's kind of weird. I already know a ton of what happens ahead of time. I've gotten spoiled thoroughly and know a lot of the later content. But still, very fun to read. I'm having no problems continuing to do that. I finished the Enigma Boy arc recently, and that is that's a pretty good fight. And we're getting closer, very close at this point, to the climax of Part 4. I'm looking forward to that Kira fight, because from what I understand, the Kira fight goes down pretty fucking well.
Yeah, it
good
does.
matchup. So that's gonna be good. I am looking forward to writing or photoshopping together and adding captions or whatever, what have you, doing something with the idea of a Stone Cold vs. Kane anime. Because now I've got this in my head, and like for the past few minutes, like I've just been like, is this something I just let die? No, this is so stupid that it has some potential.
If only there was artists we knew in the group.
Nope, don't have any of those. I have to wait until we get to the next island to find one of those. No, like if you'd like to collaborate on that and do some goofy bullshit, I would love to. So there's that. What else am I looking forward to? I think I've pretty much covered what is happening in my life for this upcoming week. There's not a lot of point talking about future shit happening next year, because like that's the problem. I can only bring up so many times about the games that are coming months from now that I'm chomping at the bit for and just frothing before it becomes tiresome. So yeah, lots of shit going on in the future, lots of great stuff, but nothing within the next week. Well, okay, I'm thinking of picking up Monster Hunter Generations when my next paycheck comes in, so I guess there's that. But after that, the thing that's coming up next that I'm interested in is the next port of one of the classic Dragon Warrior games, or Dragon Quest rather. I have to look up which of those it is, but I believe it's coming out in a month or so. I believe that's Dragon Quest 5.
Dragon Quest. Thank you. I recall checking up on some gameplay videos and knowing it was one of those ones, and I'm like, oh man, this looks so fucking good. Dragon Quest 9, Sentinels of the Starry Skies on the original DS is one of the greatest RPGs I've ever played. It's just the whole package, and it's very fun and just a really good time. So ever since I played and beat that, I'm like, yeah, fucking Dragon Quest. Why didn't I get on this sooner? some pretty good stuff. The first games in the series are pretty cryptic, so if anyone's not a huge fan of Dragon Quest 1 or 2 or stuff like that, I'm not going to fault them. It's definitely a series that picked up steam as time went on. But I'm down to try 5. I'll give it a chance. It looks like it's going to be a hell of a good port.
Now, I've actually played the original Dragon Quest V, and 5 is actually the best Dragon Quest.
Really?
Yeah. Undoubtedly.
All right. Awesome.
And I played Sentinels of the Sky as well, and it was pretty good, but 4 and 5 will still always remain my favorites. Not just because of nostalgia, but it's just like, back then I was just eating up RPGs at the time. And I mean, I went through the Final Fantasies 1 through 6, and there's some pretty good times in that, but Dragon Quest just does it in a really good style, and it always feels like you have more freedom and not so much as you have to do things like you do in Final Hallway. Of course, the earlier games aren't as bad as that,
right?
Like as some are today, or some of the later versions. They seem to be getting back on track these days. But as far as that goes, though, Dragon Quest seems to have just been able to keep the originality and juices, of creativity flowing a lot better than some of the Final Fantasy series that are still really good. But Dragon Quest just always had that, special magic to it that always draw me to it.
Yeah, it's definitely a franchise that, while maintaining what you need to have a good RPG, also has this great goofy sense of humor that causes it to never take itself 100% seriously. That makes it just fun in the purest sense to play. So I'm definitely looking forward to this port of 5, and I completely trust your word on 5 being a quality product, so I'm assuming you're going to be grabbing this port, Josiah?
Oh, yes.
Alright, then in that case, once I also get my copy, we'll have to keep in touch and see what we think of it.
Yeah, the only thing is that I've played this game through about 2 times, and so I will be racing through it like I usually do.
Oh, that's fair. Like, I'm sure you're not gonna be an asshole and spoil things for me. So, it should turn out well. And yeah.
Oh well, I will give you a little hint.
Okay.
It's not spoiler heavy, but you do have to choose to marry someone in this game. And so you have to either choose the mayor's daughter or your childhood best friend. And so I'll give you some time to make this decision ahead of time. The mayor's daughter has a boatload of gold that she has in an account at the merchants that you get as soon as you marry her. But your best friend is so amazing and magic that I always pick the best friend. Because she has like so many spells that you can unlock in later levels. Yeah, so you basically have to make that decision pretty early on in the game. And so it's something that a lot of people do wrong when they first play it, so I just thought I'd give you that little tidbit of information beforehand.
Well, thank you very much. I will have to I'll have to weigh my options carefully, but by the sounds of it, marrying your childhood best friend is the stronger choice.
Yes, it is, because it doesn't matter how much gold you get. In the long run, you can always get more.
You know what? That's a practical way to look at it. Good stuff. All right.
And because you just pop into the village, and the village daughter's like, you save the village, and the village daughter's like, marry me, and then your childhood friend's like, no, marry me. And you're like, oh, okay, my childhood best friend that I've traveled with the last 3-4 villages, or this random chick that I just ended up saving and have no idea how she is or what she's like or anything. She has money, but she can't really win a fight.
She could be a terrible person. She could eat babies, and you'd just be marrying her without knowing. What sort of dumb idea is that? Yeah, sounds pretty stupid if you ask me. All right, so thank you for the heads up. I'll have to keep an eye out for that once I finally get Dragon Quest V. And man, those trailers are I have to give credit where credit is due. That's looking like a pretty well fleshed out port.
Yep.
I'm liking what I see. I like it a lot. So yeah, Monster Hunter, Dragon Quest on the horizon. Much farther down the horizon is Persona. On this coming week, it's just going to be reading Dracula and playing Shining Force 2 and some more JoJo. That's going to be my life outside of work. And that's about it for me. I'm good. Oh, and thank you very much for the birthday wishes, gentlemen. That was very, very kind.
That's how we do.
Alright, it's that time of the podcast, boys. So what do we all say?
Say, ready? Don't!
Eliminated!
Let's go.
Good job.